know this fisherman? He arrives at the river before sunrise, sets up his fishing rod, casts the bait, and stands there holding the rod with both hands, his eyes fixed
In
on
a
the
breeze,
tip,
the fishing line
tense,
shows slight tremors.
anxiously
Watch how the
waiting.
current.
The tip of the rod trembles, just a little tremor, a breeze that blew on the line. He jerks violently backward, nothing, empty line. He baits the hook again, throws the bait, and stands tensely again, holding the stick. It trembles again. He pulls, nothing. Tremble, nothing at all. Tremble, nothing at all. 50 times a day, 50 strikes in the void, 50 scares he gave to the fish that were getting close. And at the end of the day, he returns home with a sore shoulder, sweaty, tired, and without any fish, because he scared them all away. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ravine, there's an old man. He arrived later, calmly set up the rod, cast the bait, and placed the rod in a holder fixed to the ground. He sat in a beach chair, opened the thermos, poured himself some coffee, lit a cigarette, and stayed there chatting, looking at the river, relaxing. Suddenly, a small bell at the end of the stick begins to jingle. Trim, trim, trim. The rod bends on its own, a curve like an arc. The old man calmly gets up from his chair, picks up the stick, and begins to gather it up. The fish is already hooked. It's caught itself. He just needs to tire himself out and bring it. Pacu, weighing 2 kilos. He takes it out, puts it in the bucket, baits it again, casts it, puts the rod in the holder, and goes back to the chair. Go back to the cafe. At the end of the day, the guy who stayed standing got a 0. The old man who remained seated caught 5 and didn't get tired, didn't sweat, and didn't strain his shoulder because he knows that fishing isn't gymnastics. Fishing is therapy. It's relaxation. And the fish will catch themselves if you know how to set up the right system. Today, I'm going to teach you the lazy method, how to set up the perfect trap for carp and pacu, where the fish catch themselves and you only get up from your chair to take the picture, because nature does the work for you. If you want to use fish biology to your advantage, first you need to understand why you're making mistakes, why you're losing fish, why the rod shakes and you pull, and there's nothing. Carp and large pacu don't eat like Dorado. Dorado is a predator. He attacks, opens his mouth, and swallows in one swift motion. Bang! He's hooked. You feel the strong jolt, you pull, and it's already caught. But carp and pacu are different. They have fleshy mouths, soft mouths, thick lips, and they don't attack the bait. They approach slowly, carefully, and suck. That's right, they suck. They suck the water around the mass, creating a current, and the mass begins to break down in their mouths. They chew slowly, test, taste, and feel the texture. And while they do that, the tip of the rod trembles because they are fiddling with the bait. And then you anxiously think the fish has bitten you. You give it that jolt, and what happens? You snatch the bait from his mouth before he swallows it, before the hook goes in. You remove the food from the fish's mouth, and it flees in fright and swims away. You scared away the fish you were about to eat because of anxiety, impatience, or because you didn't understand how it eats. And there's no point in waiting any longer, waiting for the rod to bend further, because old carp and pacu are clever. They suck up all the bait, clean the hook, and leave without ever swallowing the metal rod. You're left there with a clean hook, no bait, no fish. So, what to do? How can we solve this problem? With the lazy system, with the backwoods engineering that makes the fish catch itself. You will need 3 things: a spring-loaded shower head, heavy sinkers, and good mortar. A spring-loaded shower head is that classic system. A wire spring, like the ones on pens, notebooks, or toys. You take the spring and tie 3 or 4 small hooks to it, small size 10 and 12 hooks. You tie a hook spaced apart on each turn of the spring. They remain loose, pointing outwards. This spring serves as a skeleton for the mass. You will need the dough around the spring. The dough sticks to the spring, stays firm, doesn't fall apart easily, and the hooks remain hidden inside the dough, only the tips sticking out slightly at the edge. Now comes the important part, the weight. It's not a small weight, it's a heavy weight. 50 gruel, 60 gruel, 80 gruel. The heavier, the better. It could be a large olive-shaped weight. It could be cut mason's lead. It could be a thick metal washer, anything heavy. You pass that weight along the main line, it runs freely, but you don't let it go all the way down to the spring. You attach a swivel to the line about 20 or 30 centimeters above the spring, and the sinker stays attached there. She runs to the turntable and stops. It won't go down any further. This distance is important. It's the distance the fish has to swim before feeling the weight of the sinker. It's the trap space. Now, you take your dough, capara dough, the kind made with cornmeal, wheat flour, cooked and mashed sweet potato, molasses, or whatever you like. Dough that sticks together well and doesn't fall apart quickly. You take a handful of this dough and wrap the dough around the spring. Cover the entire spring, making a ball the size of an orange or a tangerine, depending on the location. Rio Grande, Bola Grande, small fishing spot, smaller ball, and you hide the hooks inside, but leave the points sticking out slightly at the edge of the ball. 4 tiny hook points sticking out from different places in the dough, like sea urchin spines. Okay, you have the bomb. The trap is ready. Now, you play in the water, choose the right spot, a backwater near the shade of a tree where you know carp and pacu fish congregate. You cast, the weight falls into the water, the heavy sinker pulls it to the bottom, and it stays there waiting. And now comes the magic that happens underwater. The fish can smell the dough. He's coming to investigate. He approaches slowly, sees that ball at the bottom, and starts sucking. It sucks up the water. The dough begins to fall apart. Little by little, small pieces come off. He eats them, enjoys them, and continues sucking. And suddenly, it sucks up one of the hooks. That little hook that was hidden on the edge of the dough. The tip gently enters his mouth. He feels it. He feels that strange pang, and his instinct kicks in, danger, and he does what any fish does when it senses danger. He takes off. He fires a shot backward, quick, strong, trying to escape. And when he pulls away, the line that was slack stretches quickly, and hits the limit on the swivel where the heavy sinker is attached, and then the shot is fired. The heavy sinker is sitting on the bottom, 80 g dead weight. The fish is swimming backward forcefully, and when the line tightens and hits the sinker, it's as if the fish has hit a wall. But the wall doesn't move. It's his head that moves, thrown back by the momentum of the movement itself. And the hook that was lightly in his mouth, the rod pierced through, penetrated deep, because it encountered resistance, a jolt, a contrary force. The fish caught itself, using its own strength against itself. And now he's in jail, hook firmly embedded. He pulls the line, stretches it, the rod bends, and the little bell at the end of the rod begins to jingle. Trim, trim, trim. And you were sitting there drinking coffee, chatting, relaxing. You hear the bell, calmly stand up, pick up the stick, and begin to collect the trash. The fish is already yours. It's already caught. You just need to tire him out and bring him here. That's the lazy system. You don't need to hold the rod. You don't need to keep casting into empty space. You set up the system, and let nature do its work. Let the fish's biology do the work. Now, let me teach you the proper conduct, how to act on the riverbank. You arrive, assemble the rod, prepare the spring with the clay, and throw it. When the bait hits the water and sinks, you don't keep holding the rod. You have support. It could be one of those rod holders they sell in stores, or it could be a piece of PVC pipe stuck in the sand, or a thick tree branch stuck in the ground. Anything that holds the stick in position. You place the rod in the holder, tilt it so it's pointing towards where you cast it, and adjust the reel's drag. Don't leave it locked, because if it gets locked and a big fish pulls, it might rip the rod off and take it back to the river. You loosen it a little, just enough to give way if the fish pulls too hard, but not so much that it takes too much line easily. And now the important detail, the bell, the jingle bell, that little Christmas bell, the toy one, the craft bell. You tie it to the end of the stick, or secure it with elastic or tape, any way that makes it firm. When the stick moves, the bell rings, and you hear it from afar. You don't need to keep looking, you just listen. It's fishing with the ear, not with the eye. Then you sit in your chair, in the shade if there is any, and you relax. You drink your coffee, your chimarrón, your water. You can talk to friends, read a book, listen to music, take a nap, whatever you want. And when the bell rings, when the rod bends, you stand up, grab the rod, and reel in the fish. Simple, efficient, lazy, just the right way. I've fished like that in a fishing pond before. I counted 3 rods, 3 lazy systems, placed the 3 in the holders, sat under a tree, and stayed there chatting with a friend drinking tereré. In 2 hours, the 3 rods caught fish, one at a time. Chino played. I got up, caught the fish, dug again, went back to the shade. I caught 7 carp without getting tired, without sweating, without stress. While other fishermen stood there holding their rods, pulling in the air, and catching 1 or 2. The difference? I let the system do its work. I respected the fish's biology, and I rested because fishing is for that, to rest, to relax, not to become an athlete. And it has another advantage. When a fish hooks itself, the bite is deep, the hook is firmly embedded. You lose fewer fish in the fight because it can't spit them out, it can't let go. He's really in jail. When you hook the fish by hand, you control the force, and sometimes you hook it weakly. The hook goes in gently and is released during the fight. But when the fish hooks itself, using all its strength, the strike is violent, precise, and deep. So in addition to fishing while resting, you lose fewer fish. It's a double advantage. And look, I know there are people who enjoy holding the fishing rod, who get pleasure from it, who think it's part of the fishing experience. Okay, everyone fishes the way they want, but if the goal is to catch fish, lots of fish, without getting tired, the lazy method is unbeatable and doesn't require expensive equipment. You can find springs anywhere. You can make heavy sinkers with old lead shot. Small hooks are cheap. The spinner costs pennies. You improvise the support. See? Snorts. No, you get it as a Christmas present. It's all simple, all accessible. The only thing you need to invest is patience. Patience to sit, to wait, to let the system work, and that doesn't cost money. It costs willpower. It's hard to accept that you don't need to control everything, that nature has its own rhythm, and that if you respect that rhythm, it rewards you. So, the challenge remains. Next time you go fishing, you set up your lazy rig, make the spring with the hooks, put on the heavy sinker, knead the dough, cast it, put it on the holder, put on the bell, and sit down. Really clears throat. Sit down in the chair and stay there. Resist the temptation to keep looking at the fishing rod, to keep lifting it to see if there are any fish. Trust the system. Wait for the bell to ring. And when the bell rings, then you get up. And I guarantee you, you'll catch fish. You'll catch them while resting. And you'll understand that fishing isn't about exerting force. It's about doing it right. It's about using intelligence, about using rustic engineering, about letting nature do the hard work. And when you return home, rested, with no shoulder pain, no fatigue, with a full bucket, you will thank the lazy system and never again want to fish standing up, holding a rod, pulling in the empty air, because you have discovered the secret. The secret, as the ancients knew, is that good fishing is peaceful fishing. Fishing where the fish work and you relax. Go for it. Set up the system. Sit your butt in the chair and let the bell wake you up when the fish arrive. Because the fish will arrive and will catch itself, as it always has, as it always will, for those who know how to set the right trap. If this story changed the way you look at the art of fishing and the patience required by nature, please subscribe and like the channel. We are uncovering the techniques and history that others have tried to bury. Plant the seeds for your future success. The next treasure of knowledge will be revealed soon.